And welcome everyone to the Circle to Make Championship on the Line podcast, MMA episode 12. The final episode here for our MMAs in 2021 because we're ending it with the event coming up this Saturday for UFC 269, and that is Dustin Poyer versus Charles Oliveira. That's right behind me, and of course you have Amanda Nunes and Pena, who will be fighting as well. This is the host of DBS One IBC here with my brothers from another mothers, and of course they have to minus the pain because they bring the pain to you with all their picks, and now they're announcing it and commentating and maybe backstage role. I don't, they're going to Hollywood as well. So that is Alex and Richard Mades from Championship on the Line podcast, and of course we got Mr. Hollywood himself. You can see him every Saturday on KDOC and on Fight TV. Championship Wrestling from Hollywood because he's managing the bulletproof himself, Blake. He brings the rage in the cage because he's always engaged. That's why he is the coach of EYR, Black House Gym MMA, the coach himself, Coach Rage. So yes, how are you, gentlemen?
Good, man. Excited.
Pretty awesome. Yeah.
Doing good.
Glad to be back.
I'm glad to have Coach back too as well. All right, gentlemen, let's get into it. This Saturday, we have UFC 269, the final pay-per-view for UFC 2021. And what a card to end it with. We do know, unfortunately, one of the cards was pulled because of an undisclosed injury, which is Masvidal pulling off from Leon Edwards, which is a mystery. Why? I swear, I gotta lie. I thought he was going to show up to AEW, and good thing he didn't, because if he would have, Dana White would have fired his ass. I would have fired his ass too. Like, what? You're canceling a fight for a wrestling event? No. But yes, right. Exactly. All right. Now, before we actually jump on into the main card, I just want to get you guys' very brief thoughts of the preliminary fights. The prelim fights looks mediocre, actually. This looks not bad. Yeah. It's stacked. What? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I'll take it to you, Alex. Look at the prelim cards, man. What do you think? Which fight are you intrigued to see in the preliminary card?
Actually, I can't see the prelim out of my phone.
All right.
Which fights we have?
All right. Well, I'll break it down for you. So we got the early prelims. We got Andre Muniz, Eric Anders, Miranda Maverick, Aaron Blanchfield, Alex Pettis, Matt Schnell, Ryan Hall, Derek Minor, Randy Costa, versus Tony Kelly, Jillian Robertson, Priscilla Cochera. That's the early.
It's a good prelim card, really, honestly.
Early prelims.
Yeah, those are the early.
Yeah.
The Munoz and Anders fight's gonna be really good because Munoz is climbing up. I mean, his fight against Jacare, the last fight, what he did to him, it was crazy. Yeah. And Anders is tough too. I think that could be possibly the fight night too. Munoz versus Anders. So that's a fight. And Miranda Maverick too. She's always fun to watch. So
yeah,
those fights will be pretty good.
I agree. And then you still got the prelims, though. That's just the early ones. You still got Josh Emmett versus, Dan Ige.
Oh, yeah.
Pedro Munoz versus Dominic Cruz. Augusto Sakai versus Tai Tuivasa. Jordan Wright versus Bruno Silva. Man.
Jeez.
What a way to end of 2021, right? With all these preliminary cards that are it's pretty stacked. Yeah, it is. Richard, which is the fight that you are intrigued to see?
For the prelims, I'm going to go with the heavyweights, Tuivasa versus Sakai for sure. I mean, that just says knockout pretty much, so I'm really excited. Alex and I were flipping out this past week and watching the past UFC card. We're just reading the prelims. I'm like, wait, is that a prelim or that's a separate card? That's just mind-blowing that this is on the same card in one night. And then you have Dominic Cruz, which is like amazing. And then even the first fight of the night, you have Jillian Robertson, who puts on the line every time she fights. So This whole card is amazing. It's hard to pick, but for the prelims, I'm excited for Sakai versus Tuivasa.
Awesome.
For sure.
Coach.
Yes. So on the early prelims, the last three fights, Perez and Schnell, Maverick and Blanchfield, and Eric Anders and Andre Nunes. The thing is, I'm friends with Eric Anders, so gotta pull for my boy. But I think Matt Schnell and Alex Perez is gonna going to be fascinating. Ryan Hall, I think, he's not my favorite, but he's always entertaining to watch. Then on the prelims, Tai Tuivasa, hopefully he gets the shoey. I think Sakai is he's a little overrated, but we love Tai. Jordan Wright and Brutus Silva. Yeah. That's going to be a good fight.
That's going to be a good fight.
Jordan Wright's good, yeah.
That's going to be a good fight. Jordan Wright is a nut job.
Yeah.
I've interacted with him a few times. He fought a friend of mine. He's trained in Santa Monica. He trained with I forgot his name. Kickboxing instructor. He fought in the UFC. Everyone knows him, but anyway, sorry. Pedro Munoz, Black House, my boy. Now, Pedro and I go back. I mean, it's probably 10, 12 years now, and I really love Pedro. But if he does not knock out Dominic Cruz, I don't know if we're still going to be friends. Yeah. So that's where I stand on the prelims.
Awesome. I love it. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm excited for it too. All of the fights that you guys mentioned, I cannot wait to just sit down and just start watching them. Man, what a way to end the year! I'm telling you, I'm happy that Dana White kind of booked this in the early prelims. They some pretty potential main card match, fights, but this is going to be. It's going to be very, very intriguing and very exciting to see. So now let's get into it. The main card. So I'm going to start off with the former Tapology World Champion. That's yes.
Same rule. 4-time, 5-time. I don't even know at this point.
5-time Booker T. Yes, we already know. So we start off with you, same rules, but does not apply to the coach, of course. But yes, 2-minute mark.
Those are my favorite rules.
So let's start off. We got the first fight in the main card, and that is
Skittles.
Yes, tasty.
Yeah, Skittles.
Skittles. Sean O'Malley versus Ralian Paiva. So you got 2 minutes. Floor is yours. What do you got?
This is a good fight. I like this fight a lot because I think Paiva is such a good fighter too. It's going to be a really good test for O'Malley. Watching Paiva's last fight, he fought Kyler Phillips and got a win over Kyler Phillips, Kyler Phillips is a tough fighter, tough guy, and he's got a win over him. And it's going to be tough for O'Malley. Paiva's a really tough guy and very well-rounded. But O'Malley, man, if Paiva decides to stand up with him, it's going to be very I don't know. It's just O'Malley's so good when it comes to stand up and his kicks. He knows how to use movement so well. I'm going to go with O'Malley on this one. I'm going to pick a decision for O'Malley.
Okay.
I like Paiva, but I think O'Malley gets it by decision.
Awesome. All right. Second fight of the main card, we have Kai Kara France versus Cody Garbo. Take it away.
This is going to be a good one, too, because Kara France is really good. Especially, Muay Thai, he's a very good striker. So is Cody, but it's just, right now Cody's in a situation right now where, he's been, I think his last 4 fights, he's 1-3 or something like that. He lost the last fight against Ralph Font. And right now, Cody is just not in that, where he was years ago when he was champion and winning, and now he's kind of in the slump. And, and you put him against another tough opponent like Kara France, who's coming up in the rankings.
Yes.
And he's very exciting too. I'm gonna go, man, this is a tough one too, but I'm gonna go France on this one. I think he gets it done. I want to see decision. I'll give it a decision for France.
Oh wow, decision. All right. That's 2 already on decision. All right. Then we got the third one of the main card, the third fight. You got Geoff Neal versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. So that's what we have.
Man, this is a tough one too, because Ponzinibbio, if you guys remember, like a few years ago, like he was like very close for getting a title shot. Like
Yeah.
he was like the guy. Like he was, like really close to getting a title shot. Then he got hurt, got injured. I think he was out for a couple of years. I think he didn't fight for a while, and then he comes back. And, it wasn't good. He got knocked out in his return against Lee, I believe, and now. I think he won his last fight. I forgot who he fought, but I know he won his last fight. And then Jeff Neal too is another guy too that like had really big fights. He fought like Wonder Boy, and had some tough losses. I think Neal has a couple losses too. So like right now with Neal, he needs a win. He needs a win. I feel like if he loses, he's probably in that list of probably getting cut. So he's gonna bring his A game going into this fight, and so is Santiago too. But I like Santiago. I think he has that power to like really knock out anyone. And I'm gonna go Ponzinibbio, second round knockout.
Awesome. Second round knockout. Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. And by the way, he fought Miguel Baeza the last time.
That's who he is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's who he fought last time. All right. And now for one of the main events, which is a co-main event, we have for the women's bantamweight championship, we have Amanda Nunes defending the belt versus Juliana Pena. Now we remind you that this fight was supposed to happen a while back, but they postponed it because of because Amanda COVID, and now it was extended to this fight, added to this card. So take it away.
Again, I think we all agree if it's not Chichenko, I think no one really gives Nunes a really tough fight. I think Nunes wins. I like Pena. I've been watching her since when she did a Go-To Fighter. She's a really good fighter. I just don't think she's gonna beat Nunes. I don't think she has enough. She doesn't bring enough to the table to really dethrone her and get the belt. Honestly, I just think wherever the fight goes, ground, stand up, I think Nunes is better everywhere where the fight goes. I want to say it's not. It's the way how she's gonna win. That's really how it is.
How and when.
Yeah. I want to go fourth round TKO. I think she ends up stopping Pena. Yeah, I'm gonna go fourth round, later rounds.
Okay, I like that. All right, here we go. All right, and now for the main event, we've all been waiting for this because we want to know who will be fighting. The next title contender, which we'll get into it after the whole card, and that is Charles Oliveira defending the lightweight championship versus Dustin Poyer. What do you got in that?
This one's tough too. It's funny because like watching Oliveira, when he fought Chandler, Chandler looked pretty good when he was fighting Oliveira. I mean, I thought in my eyes, I thought he was going to win the fight. I think he just got caught. Like Oliveira won the title, but he just didn't look. It wasn't his best performance, honestly. And then now going fighting a guy like Poirier, who's coming off a win obviously from McGregor, and Poirier's been looking really good, and so tough. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Poirier in this one. I think he becomes a new champion. Honestly, I'm gonna say, I think he stops him. I think I see him knocking him out. I see him knocking him out like in the second round.
Oh, wow, that's a gamble.
Yeah,
it's a gamble right there, but
that's what happens when you win it 5 times. You take gambles and you win. So
come down, Booker T. We already know. And just for the hell of it, just because you're talking shit, I'm gonna say Chris's picks. Here's Chris's picks, and I'm gonna write them down. Chris's picks. He got O'Malley in round 2 TKO.
Wow.
Okay. He got Garbrandt winning by decision. And he got Ponzinibbio winning in the first round TKO. So that's interesting. Nunes first round TKO. And yeah, he got Poyer third round TKO.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. I can't wait till the recap. But yes.
I know.
Richard, now the floor is yours. Now let's start off with the first fight. Paiva O'Malley. What do you got on that one?
You guys already know how I feel about O'Malley. I think I fanboy too much over him. You guys, I love his style and his personality. I think he's an exciting fighter. I'm I'm gonna take a gamble. I'm gonna say he's gonna. It's hard for me to say because I want him to win, but I think he's gonna. I think Paiva's gonna do an upset.
What?
I'm gonna go with Paiva.
Wow. You're going
Yeah.
with your mind, not with your heart.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a feeling. I don't know. I think Paiva. I think he has a lot of experience. I mean, he can knock you out. He can go the distance. He's been a distance most of his career.
Yes.
21 of his wins, 14 are by decision. I think he has to get, Sean O'Malley deep waters in the second, third round, and I think he'll clinch it enough to take it. I think he can do it. I really think he can pull off and get the win over O'Malley.
Like how?
I say decision.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna take gamble on that one.
Switch. It's a big gamble right there.
Oh yeah.
Wow. All right. Second fight. Kai Kara France, Cody Garbo.
Cody, like everyone knew how great he was in the beginning. 2016, a few years ago. He was defeating Cruz and defeating guys like Augusto Mendez. I mean, the list goes on how he's getting these finishes too in spectacular fashion. But like Alex said, he's in a rut. In his last 4 fights, he's 1-3. He's struggling. Rob Font too is nothing to be ashamed of. Rob Font, we saw him this past weekend. I mean, he went the distance and fought his heart out.
Yes, he did.
But we're at a point where they're giving these guys a little lower for Garbrandt. Like, who are you going to face now? It gets lower. Okay, you can't beat the top 5 guys. You can't beat maybe the guy ranked from 5 to 10. What's next? This is kind of a do or die moment where Cody has to win, and it's kind of hard to watch. He's still such a young fighter, and he's struggling right now. So hopefully, he gets his act together and gets his win. But I don't see it. Honestly, I don't see it happening. I think I see Kai winning by decision on this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
for
right.
sure.
Okay. We got Neal versus Ponzinibbio. What do you got on now?
Same thing. I think Alex and I have a lot of the same picks here and there. With Neal, I believe he's coming off 2 losses to Magny and Stephen Thompson. I mean, those guys alone, their records speak for themselves, how great fighters they are. So I don't think it really diminishes Jeff's, where he's at right now in his career. Yeah, he lost to these 2 guys, but look who they are. I mean, Wonderboy just got off a contender fight, a title eliminator recently. So, and also with Magny too, is trying to come up and get his shot one day. So I don't think that really changes anything. But then again, you're facing Santiago, who, like Alex said, was on a winning streak, and he kind of was back and forth in his career. But that being said, I'm still going to give it to Santiago. I think Santiago wins by, I'm going to say by knockout in the second round.
Ooh.
Yeah.
TKO. All right. Now to the co-main event. Nunes, Pena.
All right, so I think we'll cut it here. Nunes wins by knockout. I'll see you guys later on. No, I think everyone thinks that, she'll win, just how Rage says when and how, pretty much. I kind of hate discrediting Juliana Pena. She came out like a rocket, winning the Ultimate Fighter. She was beating people like Jessica Ai, Cantagano, and the list goes on. She was, off to a great start of her career. We know that she had some injuries and some bad things happen in her camp. That kind of she hasn't really been the same in the last. She hasn't been active. Also, if you really look at her last few fights, she's pretty much been fighting once a year. She fought this year. Before that, she fought 2020. Then once 2019. She had laid off 2018. So that's what worries about me. But that's what I worry about, where she hasn't been as much active. Especially, you should be if you're going to fight someone like Nunes.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, I think Nunes still either the first or second round. I think she ends it too early. Like Alex said, I think the only fight that matters at this point is Shevchenko. They're just trying to find any contender to throw at Nunes. I said this last time that some of these people are getting the shot at the belt after going 1-1 her last 2 fights.
Mm-hmm.
These girls, they're just trying to feed her to anybody at this time. You're just throwing these girls to the wolves pretty much. And Nunes is one woman, but she has the power of like 100 wolves. That's what's the dangerous part of this fight. So I think Nunes, I think she either knocks her out in the first or second round.
So which one you go, first or 2?
I'll go in the first round.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
First round TKO. All right. Now to the main event. Oliveira, Poyer.
Oliveira, I want to pick Poyer, and this is a tough one. I think everyone's really discrediting, Charles. Everyone's saying that he's kind of a belt warmer. He's going to hold it for one fight and then lose it in the next one. Everyone's now kind of gunning for him like he's an easy target as a champion. You saw Justin Gaethje. You saw, I'll beat him. Even Chandler's like, oh, even my last loss, I'll still beat this guy. I know I could beat him. And Poyer is the perfect guy to beat. Poyer, I would love to see him win. He was a champion. He was an interim. I want to see him win this belt. The same thing with Oliveira. This is a tough one. I'm a fan of both of these guys. I wish it was boxing and there was multiple champions in one weight class. So you could have 5 champions in the middleweight division, lightweight division, but unfortunately that's not how it is. I'm gonna go with Oliveira. I think he does something. And I'm gonna go on the limb. I don't know in my head. I'm gonna go with a submission. I think he submits. I think this is gonna go to the ground. I think he goes for a submission. I know Poyer's only been submitted twice in his career.
Yes.
But I think Oliveira's best bet, is to submit him. He needs to be very careful of the standing. I would say the 3rd round. I think 3rd or 4th, but I'll go 3rd round.
Man,
I think that's his best bet.
Wild pick.
He's 19 submissions to his record, and I think he does it versus Poyer. I think that's the best way to beat him. I think if you could keep him down enough and have him as guard or be full mount, you could really frustrate Poyer. And we've seen that when he fought Khabib.
Yes.
I never seen him that frustrated where he just couldn't even get off on his knees. And I think that's the perfect way to beat him. I think Oliveira could do that.
Okay. Definitely.
Yeah.
Man.
Kind of like what he did to Ferguson, pretty much, when Oliveira fought him.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's gonna have to do versus a striker like Poyer.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So let's see. I will go very briefly, very quickly. I won't take long. Of course, O'Malley decision. Skittles. He's gonna taste the rainbow, all right. He's gonna taste the rainbow. That's right. So I'm gonna have to go with my boy O'Malley. Decision. But I agree. Paiva is, he's a strong contender. He could give him some trouble, but I'm going with my heart. So I'm gonna go with O'Malley because I'm a fan of his work and I'm loving his upcoming in the ranks, and hopefully we'll see him contending soon. All right, and then Cody. I love Cody's work, and man, his credentials are there, especially when he was a champ. It's just that he's just not as crazy. It's I can I say it was age-wise, it could be, but not really. It's just that his career is already coming down to an end. It was heading to that road. It'll be a great moment for him to win, but France though is fucking phenomenal. So I'm gonna have to go with France on this one, and I would say second round TKO. That's what I feel. So as much as I like Garbon, but I'm sorry, his career is already heading down the road to the end. And Bellator, baby, or PFL. All right, Neal Santiago. This fight, Santiago is deadly, man. Even though it has been quite some time, like how you mentioned that we haven't seen him fought. Neal as well. He did fight 2 contenders that are top contenders up in the ranks, previously. So yes, he does need this win. I love Neal's striking abilities. And I'm gonna go with Neal on this one on decision. I'm gonna gamble with this one because I think he might probably pull this win off and actually keep his job because you never know. But I like Neal's ability, his striking abilities. I'm a fan of his work of that. Santiago too. I'm a fan of his work, but I really want Neal. He's underrated. Doesn't get as much credit. That's just how I feel about him. But I really have Neal to go ahead and take this one by decision. I know it's a gamble, but I'm to go in. Of course, Nunes. Okay, Juliana. Now, the last fight that Nunes fought, she did have had a little trouble. Her cockiness is kind of getting there. See, this is what happens when you're with American top team. This is what happens when you're with American top team. That's what happens. You get a little cocky. You get, okay, yes. We get it. You're the champ. You're unstoppable. You're all over the, hands down everywhere. Overall, could be either ground or stand up. She has it all. But that last fight, she only had tiny little trouble, but obviously she switched it around and obviously took over the win. I'm gonna have to go with Nunes, second round submission. I have a feeling that Nunes will probably submit her. Something, I don't think she'll knock Juliana Pena. I like Pena too. You mentioned, her previous work as well. It's just there's nobody in that division anymore. Yeah. Smichenko, that's it. I mean, but what's next? I mean, I don't know. I think if Amanda fights Shevchenko, I think that she should just pretty much retire. That's it. What else she has to prove? There's nothing else to prove anymore. There's nobody in that division, unfortunately. So I mean, yeah, I mean it's an unfortunate, but oh well. All right, the main event. Damn, this is a tough one, man. Tough one. Oh, I like both of these individuals so much. Oliveira as well, because he deserves it. He deserves this. He deserves this belt. And I was really happy for him that he finally, that he won it. Even though, oh man. Shit. I like Dustin too. Because he's upcoming as well already. I mean, he's been upcoming, but meaning that. But he fought Conor though. See, that's it. He's more about the prize fight. And now he's focusing now on the title, on being
a two-division world champion, Ivan.
I get it. But it's but I mean, okay, Conor, okay, fine. But I mean, this is a whole different story now. Now you're fighting Oliveira. So damn, it's gonna be the toughest. I'm gonna go with my heart in this one. I'm gonna go with it. Oliveira decision.
Wow.
I have to go Oliveira decision. Oliveira decision. I have to. I don't get me wrong. I love Poyer, but I have to go with Oliveira. I think he deserves to keep that belt at least for like another 2 to 3 fights, hopefully. I mean, and then we don't even know. See, the biggest question is, I mean, you got Darush, and then you have Gaethje. So the winner of this can either fight
Gaethje's next, I think.
But Gaethje's next. Gaethje, which is next, which I wouldn't mind seeing that. So I mean, which we don't know what's going to happen after that, the aftermath. But it's going to be interesting. This is good, and I'm hoping that Gaethje and Darush be watching this fight to see who's going to win it. And I'm going to be so happy if Oliveira wins it and retains. The guy deserves to at least have a title run.
Yeah.
He deserves to have a title run. All right.
This in wrestling, Ivan, there's no such thing as deserving a title run. Okay, he has to earn the title run if he could get to.
He earned it, bro. He earned it, and now let him have it for God's sakes. Let him have it for quite some time. All right, best for last, Mr. Hollywood himself, Coach Rage. Take it away.
All right. So O'Malley and Pavina. I still think that they are trying to build O'Malley. I think this is still a bit of a gimme fight, but a little bit of a soft pitch for him. So O'Malley, clean knockout, round 2.
Ooh,
nice.
Kai Kara France and Cody Garbrandt. I agree with what everyone has been saying about Cody. He's not the same. One thing that I think was a big mistake is he's been splitting his camps. He's been going between the coasts, working with Mark Henry and half the time in Alpha Male, the other half the time. I just don't think that's a good idea. And one of his fights, his corners were actually saying both men were saying the right things, but they were saying different things. And you can't do that. You can't do that to an athlete. And after his spinal surgery, he hasn't been the same. And this is his first fight at flyweight.
I forgot.
Right.
He's gotten loss after loss at bantamweight, and so now he's desperately cutting weight, and he's not a flyweight. No. He's a bantamweight. He's a small bantamweight, but when he's on, he's phenomenal. But he hasn't been on, and I don't think he's going to get back on. Kai Kara France is a true flyweight. Trains with killers. So I see France taking this second round TKO. Oh. All right, Jeff Neal and Santiago Ponzinibbio. The odds are even, and I think they are spot on. The only indicator that we have, which if you do MMA math, which never works, but both men have fought Neal Magny.
Yes.
Ponzinibbio knocked out Magny. Neal lost to Magny.
Yes.
Thing is, I'm friends with Jeff's coach. Shout out to Chaddock if you're watching. So I'm going with Jeff, and I'm going to give him the head kick knockout in round 3.
Ooh. He does have those head kicks, man. Jesus, man.
All right. So what's the viewership on this? We get 1.2, 1.3 million views, people watching this. So ladies, if there's any 135, 145 badass bitches that want to be raging bitches, I've got an opening. I've got 2 openings for bantamweight and for featherweight. Come get at me and we will go after Amanda, because until I train somebody, nobody's beating her. So Pena is going to get her ass beat. The question is it round 1 or round 2? Is it knockout, TKO, or submission? And I don't know. It depends on Amanda's mood and if she feels like beating up Julia or having mercy on her. Because when she fought Megan Anderson, and the fight before that, she took a lot of mercy. I don't remember the Canadian girl I don't remember her name, but
Felicia Spencer.
Spencer.
Yes, right?
Spencer. Yeah.
So Amanda kept taking her down and kind of playing different control positions, a little bit of side mount, a little bit of north-south, different holding positions, but not a lot of damage. And, it could be she just had a baby and the maternal instincts, blah, 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 blah. So the question is how and when, and it all depends on her mood. But I'm going to say by submission, round 2, Amanda Nunes.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Oliveira and Poyer. Man, I like both these guys. It shouldn't impact my opinion, but it always does. Like, I look at the quality of the person, and both these guys are stellar. They're top quality people. But Oliveira, as much as I like him, he's using an older formula. He's great at jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai, but that leaves some gaps, namely wrestling and boxing.
Agreed.
And wrestling and boxing is what Poirier is pretty good at. Poirier is also a southpaw, which is going to cause some awkward, unusual angles that Oliveira is probably not accustomed to. Question is it a ground and pound TKO or does it go to decision? Yeah, I think it goes to decision. Poirier wins.
Oh, all right. All right. Poirier wins. Awesome. Now, since you said that, Coach, now, and like I said, I mean, when I mentioned Gaethje.
Yeah.
I mean, would you rather have Poirier? Obviously, you chose Poirier, but Poirier and Gaethje. Who, if let's say Poirier wins, he wins the belt, and now he fights Gaethje. What are the odds for Poirier to defeat Gaethje on that, if it happens?
They're pretty good. Here's the thing, right? Years ago, was it Eddie Alvarez dropped Gaethje with the body shot?
Yeah.
Right, and Poirier beat Alvarez. Is that how that goes? I don't remember exactly, but they were the top 3 back then. But Gaethje and Poirier have both gotten so much better. They've been consistent in their training. Man, and the other thing, Gaethje, he's got that style, he's got that toughness, and he's got Trevor Whitman. He's got one of the best coaches on the planet, and he's got a team of champions, a small little clique of champions. Yeah, I don't know unless Khabib comes back from retirement. I don't know if anyone's going to stop Gaethje.
Yeah, Gaethje.
I hate to keep monopolizing, but the importance of the coach-fighter relationship and having a team that's cohesive and works, whether it's a mega team like American Top Team, or whether it's a boutique like Trevor Whitman, like the Onyx. It's so crucial. It's so crucial, and it's hard to know. You never know unless there's something going wrong. But that chemistry between coach and fighter, it's so important. And I feel bad for a lot of these younger fighters that don't have it, don't know how to look for it. And a lot of the coaches out there just don't click, if that makes sense. So,
Yeah, no, I get you. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But what do you think it is, though? Is it personal, like meaning as opening your personal life towards your student, or what is it that that creates that? I mean, that causes that. Not to have that bond.
I think very much there's people just fit. It's just the right fit, and your fucked up works with my fucked up, and they fit together just right.
Right.
But I think also there's, speaking from my perspective and my experience and what I've seen, I think a lot of coaches don't really have the relationship skills necessary to actually get close enough to somebody to actually help them through all the dark nights of the soul and all the things that come. And being a coach it's a big responsibility. It's a big job, and it's so easy to just repeat the motions, just go through the motions and do what worked. Like, okay, most coaches had a fight career, and so they're just repeating what worked for them and what was taught to them, right? Rather than seeking out what's relevant now, and specifically what this individual fighter needs, because he's not me. He's a complete different individual, and so I think a lot of it is on the coaches, and I think a lot of ultimately the responsibility is on the fighter.
Right.
And it's this weird dynamic fighting, like in professional football, the talent, they are employees.
Right.
So they show up, they get paid, they do the work, and coach tells them what to do, and they do it, period, the end, because there's a hierarchical structure that dictates that.
Right.
But in fighting, well, the coach should know what's best, and yet they're getting paid a percentage of the fighters winning. So you're kind of the boss, but you're also ultimately an employee. So that confusing dynamic can cause a lot of problems. And then, believe it or not, a lot of fighters actually aren't good with conflict. They aren't good with the uncomfortable conversations. So a lot of them will tolerate, explode, break everything, start over somewhere else, right? Where it could have just, if you addressed it 6 months ago, it could have been an uncomfortable conversation and we could have found a solution. But a lot of fighters like I said, we're fucked up. So we lack a lot of the interpersonal and intrapersonal skills that's necessary for building a complex, what's called a power relationship, where one individual is the point of the focus of the power, and the team is supporting that one. And it takes a lot of communication and a lot of both intrapersonal and interpersonal. So interpersonal is between people. You need to know how to talk to people, but intrapersonal, you need to know what's going on inside yourself to get your shit right.
All right. Oh man, right. It's like, like being the boss, being the coach, being the big brother, the parent. So it's like it's all that mesh into one. So it's like, obviously how you mentioned football courts, because it's a pyramid. You start from here, you have your coaches, you have the owners, the general managers, and the owners, blah, blah, blah. But here, it's different because it's more of a brotherhood ship, a family bond ship, because you're watching your own person either probably beating the shit out of somebody or losing or getting their ass whipped. So you feel that pain. So I'm with you on that 100%. It is tough, and oh man, that's what we see. I mean, of what I read and what I hear is a lot of the fighters, they switch coaches because, how you mentioned, because they don't have that connection, that mesh. That is like, I don't need to take this shit from you. I'll go somewhere else where they'll I can tolerate it and they'll tolerate me. So it's
really hard to know. It's hard to know who's a good coach and who's not a good coach.
Right.
And the tendency is to look at who that other coach has worked with. Right. And it's like, well, okay, just because they worked with this champion doesn't mean be able to work with you. And maybe that champion's a champion regardless he coached with, and I've said this before, but I have a resume. I have a professional resume with all my work experience, my work history, and my qualifications. And you know how many fighters ask me for my resume? Zero. None. They come to me because they're friends with this guy, or this guy recommended them, or they saw me here or there, I cornered this champion, or I was strength coach for this guy. So it's all referral and word of mouth. And, Instagram has changed a lot of things. Some good, some not good at all. Because you can, everyone knows you can make yourself look much more successful and much more significant. You can do that on Instagram and so, all right. Now, I sound like my fucking grandpa, I know.
It's all good, man. It's all good. But here's the final question I have for all of you guys, because I'm curious to know, your thoughts about this. Okay, Nunes winning. What's next? Should she retire? Should she just call it quits? I mean, looking at the division itself, it's not. It's wait. Who do you have? I mean, you have Holly Holm, Irene Aldana at 2, Pena 3, Aspinall at 4, Kelton Vera 5, Yana Nunaska 6, Misha Tate at 7, Raquel Pennington at 8, Sarah McMahon at 9, Macy Chase at 10, Lena Landsberg at 11, Carol Rosa at 12, Patty Kenza at 13, Julia Avila at 14, and Norma Dumont at 15. Nunes already has done was already. I don't know what's next. So, I'll take it to you, Coach D. Should she retire after this? If she wins, what's next for
her? I don't think she should retire. I think she's going to defend both belts back and forth. And that's going to keep it interesting. Mm-hmm. And there's two possibilities. Well, the fight with Shevchenko, maybe. maybe. But is there incentive enough for Shinchenko to do that again? Because there is a significant size difference, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure about that one, but that's one possibility. And, that's kind of a super fight. Everyone's going to watch it to see. Amanda gets proven everything that she can, and she walks away on top. The other thing that can happen, she can get caught, right? She's married. She has a daughter. It's very difficult to be on top, undefeated, and have a great home life and keep training like your next fight is your biggest fight. So she could get caught. And, someone like Pena is the kind of person that would catch you, but there's also there's that bitch we don't know about.
That's true.
We don't know about her. She's not in the UFC. She's not in the rankings, and she could come tearing through.
Yeah.
Come through the Contender Series out of who knows where'd this girl come from? 1, 2, 3 fights, title fight. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I actually believe that is a much stronger possibility when you look at the regional scene in Brazil and parts of Europe. Women's MMA is it's a little bit behind men's MMA, and it's a different sport because of the gender differences, but women's MMA it's on fire.
Yeah, it's rising.
So I could see just a phenomenal young athlete with tremendous speed and power just coming in and I can see that happening, but most likely Amanda's going to prove everything she can prove and get bored and
that's how I feel.
Find her things.
That's how I feel, that she's prove more. I agree about defending the other belt, but after that, I think she'll be okay. I got a family to go to, how you mentioned. I'm a mother now, I'm married, so looks like I'm gonna have to focus on that more. We may see that maybe. We'll never know. Never know. May see that. But I'll go to you, Richard. How do you feel about it?
Kind of like you saying, she'll win this, maybe a couple more, get some big paydays, and right off to the sunset. But I feel like I would like to see Kayla Harrison step in there. I think a lot of people are kind of forgetting about her. She's from PFL. I mean, that's the only person I kind of see.
Some of us are completely overlooking her 100%. Yeah. I don't subscribe to that. But sorry to interrupt you like that, but
no worries.
PFL it's nowhere near UFC caliber. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have.
No. Oh no, you're fine. But even besides that, but who really else? She's the only girl kind of they're saying outside of UFC to fight her. I mean, it could go the same way. She could run over Harris in the first round like all the other girls, but that's the only name that kind of pops to my
But Dana's not interested in her, so she'll probably go to Bellator or maybe go back to PFL.
And what do you do with this? Do you bring back Cyborg later on again, try to re-sign her, do a number 2? I wish that would have maybe happened, but I mean, what else?
No.
Dana said he'd never work with Cyborg again.
Yeah.
And he's very strict about that stuff.
Oh yeah.
If there was a number 2, especially right now, if she were to sign her back, you think it would have been a different outcome right now if Cyborg signs back in the UFC and we see Nunes and Cyborg 2?
No.
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 And I know Chris, and she's done Bolt Wrestling at Black House. I've worked with some of her training partners, sparring partners. No, she just the holes in Cyborg's games are just. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here.
We still got you. We still got you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, my screen keeps freezing. The holes in Cyborg's games. they're too big, and Amanda's striking is just too good.
Yeah.
And she's just too well rounded. Yeah, so I don't see Cyborg.
Yeah, I don't see her coming back either. No, at all.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's no way that she could, because Dana will not let that happen.
Yeah.
But even if she did, I don't see anything happening there.
Yeah, I don't see it either. What about you, Alex?
So that leaves the question: what does Amanda do?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What does that's what? At least the question, Alex. Answer the question, Alex.
If I was her, if she does beat Pena, I'll probably tell Dana, I'll be like, hey, I'm gonna take a 2-year break and then come back to me when you have something better. Because who else is there really? I mean, like I said, she's beaten everyone. I mean, if Shevchenko doesn't really happen, it's like, who else is there to fight? You know, you would let me, if she took a year break and then let at least a little bit of division to at least spice it up and get some contenders in there. But for right now, there isn't anyone. You know, after she beats Pena, like, who else?
Huh?
You know, at least give like a good challenge, but there isn't anyone that's going to give her. For right now, there isn't anyone that's going to give her, you know, a challenge, in my opinion.
Yeah, but it's also easy money.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, when he does the best that he can to give her a challenge or a match, you know, once you're in the lifestyle of training, you know, and there are some people who adjust to it better than others. Yeah, so once you're just on that schedule and you're in camp pretty much consistently, it's just your lifestyle. And Amanda has that. It's just what she does, you know. She wakes up, she eats, she showers, she trains, and it's as natural for her as breathing. So I understand what you're saying. I think that's a great idea, but I don't know if she's the person to step away just to come back. You know, I think she keeps doing it until it's time to do something
I was
else.
thinking like maybe she pose like a Cejudo, you know, like just takes a break and it comes back.
Right, but for what though? You know, like I understand you're saying, hey, let the other kids have some fun, but why would you walk away from an easy paycheck 2-3 times a year that you're just
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's very true.
But also could be like a negotiating thing too, you know.
Right, but she doesn't need to do that. She doesn't need to do that. You know, she's the top of the game, and Dana loves her, right?
Yeah.
Dana didn't like Henry. Nobody likes Henry.
Nobody likes
Poor guy.
So, you know, he had to, and you know, the weight classes, it's not fair, but the bigger weight classes make more money. They more people with MMA. 85% of the fan base, or 85% of the viewership, is what we call casual, right? So, you know, the four of us we're not casual. We're sophisticated. This is what we do. This is what we enjoy. So we see it completely different. Most people don't know what they're watching. They just go, "Oh, I wouldn't want to be in there with that big guy." So there's always a disproportionate favoritism shown to the heavier weight classes and the more jacked fighters, because that's, you know, it looks intimidating, it looks impressive. I don't know why I was talking about that, but because Cejudo needed those tactics to start getting some more, you know, some more bread.
Definitely. All right. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is all for this evening for MMA episode 12. We'll be back next week to give, recapping UFC 269, and let's see who will be the Tapology. We'll see a sixth time.
So, I keep interrupting. I'm being a fucking douchebag tonight.
It's my coach. You're the coach. You're the coach. Go for it.
Catch me up on the drama here with we got Booker T and what's going on with the Tapology?
Well, Chris is Tapology world champion right now. So he's
A
defending
champion that
it.
doesn't even show up to these things, man. Come on.
Look, he sent me his pick, so it was fair. If he did not send me the pick, then there would have been we would have a new interim Tapology world champion. So don't worry about it. But he sent me his picks, so we gotta have Coach put his picks on Tapology, which we keep forgetting to do that. So we'll tell him off the air. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, what's it gonna
But whoa. What's been going on? First off, Rage, I won it 5 times. I've been a 5-time champion. Okay, these guys only won it maybe 1 time, 2 times.
Okay.
They can never catch up. Okay. So yeah.
I just hope fucking Richard wins it. I just want Richard to win it.
I've been the runner-up like 4 times in a row at this point.
He's never won it, Rage. He's never won it.
He's gonna win it. He's gonna win it. Okay.
That's what you said last time when you didn't win. You
He
close.
Yeah, I know he wasn't even close. You were way off on your points.
I was like, I remember I beat Alex.
So
by
is
like,
it
1,000 points.
Is there a running tally of how many times you've won, or is it just whoever
I
wins
stopped
it is?
counting after I won it like 5 times. Rage.
Well,
I stopped counting.
the way is based on the points because we had all the points for the
I've
previous.
stopped counting, but I won 5 times.
Yeah.
Oh,
Five.
I can't. Five.
Is it 5 or 6?
It's gonna be maybe 6, bro. We don't know yet. We'll find out. We'll find next week. We'll find that out. But yes, now before we let you guys go, ladies and gentlemen, of course, we'll give the floor to Coach and let the people know, the viewers, subscribers, and the listeners as well, audio platforms, where can they find Coach Rage if they want to go ahead and train with you, follow you, and see everything what you do for Black House and EYR. Where can they find that?
Nice, thank you. Easiest way to find me is going to be on social media. My name is Rage, R-A-G-E. My last name is Ing, but it's spelled N-G, which is a can't use spelling, but that's a different story. So Raging, and on Instagram I'm the Raging. You can also find my YouTube channel. Google Raging, look for this ugly mug, and I got some cool shit there. So the best way to find me is on social media. If by chance you are a fighter and you do want to train and you want to move to Los Angeles and train with legends and world champions, I say that jokingly, but I'm not joking. Black House has produced more champions in MMA than any other gym, and we produce legends. So there's that. Reach out to me on either Instagram or Facebook. And it sounded like I was joking about the bantamweight, featherweight, badass bitches that are going to become raging bitches. I'm not joking. I do have openings, especially for female fighters. So thank you for that.
Of course. And the description will be right below, ladies and gentlemen. The description will be right below of all our social media platforms where you can locate and find them and follow him around. And yes, females, ladies out there who wants to be a fighter, bantamweight, featherweight, this is the guy right here, Mr. Hollywood himself. Because also you can catch him on Hollywood every Saturday on Fight TV on Championship versus Hollywood as well, as he's managing, of course, to put up through play. Of course, you can catch him there every Saturday. That's right. And of course, you catch these two other individuals. The Bodies of Pain that brings the pain to you. Not only just pro wrestling, but there's boxing interviews and mixed martial arts interviews as well. And also, they're working alongside with NSPW. So make sure you follow their social media platforms so you can catch Alex announcing, his ring announcer, and of course, Richard, he'll be doing some managing roles, just like Mr. Hollywood Coach over here as well. That is right. So we'll be back, ladies and gentlemen, for next week with a recap. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching, and we will catch you guys on the next one.